Over 2 millennia ago, the Greek physician Hippocrates proposed that all disease begins in the gut. Today, modern science is revealing the mechanical truth behind that statement. The intestinal wall operates as a strict, single-cell fixed security perimeter standing between your sterile bloodstream and the chaotic external world. This creates an immediate biological paradox. The gut has to function as an open door for water and vital nutrients, while simultaneously acting as an impenetrable vault against pathogens, bacterial toxins, and food antigens. It relies on a system of selective permeability. If we look at this microscopic cross-section of the intestinal epithelium, we can see the exact mechanism that makes this possible. The narrow gaps between these adjacent cells are sealed shut by highly dynamic multi-protein structures known as tight junctions. These tight junctions act as physical locks. Transmembrane proteins called claudins and occludins reach across the gap to interlock with their neighbors. To keep them securely in place, scaffolding proteins known as ZO1 tether these locks directly to the internal skeleton of the cell. As long as this microscopic seal remains flawless, your internal homeostasis is protected. It absorbs what it needs, it repels threats, and maintains systemic balance. But that balance is fragile. A poor diet, stress, or infection can disrupt the healthy microbial communities in your digestive tract, a state called dysbiosis. When that happens, the body releases a specific protein called zonulin. Zonulin penetrates the epithelial cells and activates an enzyme called MLCK. Once active, MLCK directly contracts the perijunctional actomyosin ring, like a mechanical winch pulling a rope tight, physically retracting the claudin and occludin proteins away from the gap. The cellular tiles are actively pulled apart. The airtight seal is broken, forced ajar from the inside. With the barrier compromised, unauthorized material in the gut lumen bypasses normal absorptive channels and surges directly into the underlying tissue. A microscopic mechanical failure has now created a massive systemic vulnerability. The most dangerous of these infiltrators are lipopolysaccharides, or LPS. These are highly toxic structural endotoxins shed by dying gram-negative bacteria inside your gut. Leaking into the bloodstream, invading LPS toxins hit a biological tripwire, locking into TLR4 receptors on circulating immune cells. This binding triggers an alarm cascade, shooting a signal deep into the nucleus to activate NF-kappa B, which mass produces inflammatory cytokines. This sustained, widespread immune reaction creates a physiological state known as metabolic endotoxemia, a chronic low-grade fire burning constantly throughout your bloodstream. These circulating inflammatory signals directly interfere with how your tissues process energy. They impair glucose metabolism, driving insulin resistance and causing hepatic lipid accumulation. The cytokines also attack the inner lining of your blood vessels, promoting arterial inflammation and actively escalating cardiovascular risk. This compromised barrier operates as a hidden pathological engine, actively driving widespread chronic and metabolic disease. Fortunately, the epithelial barrier is a highly dynamic structure that constantly remodels itself. We can rewrite its security protocols, using targeted food-derived molecules as cellular technicians to repair the breach. Look at flavonoids like quercetin and camphorol. At the cell border, they trigger the reassembly of ZO2, claudins, and occludins, re-gluing the cellular tiles. Internally, glutamine upregulates tight junctions and activates PI3K-AKT survival pathways, reinforcing the ZO1 scaffolding against future breakdown. Consider butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid produced when healthy gut bacteria ferment fiber. It performs an exact mechanical intervention, inhibiting the MLCK pathway to cut power to the cellular winch. The actomyosin ring relaxes, and the cell borders sit perfectly flush together. With the physical gap closed, the supply line of circulating LPS is permanently severed. The immune alarm shuts off, and systemic inflammation naturally subsides. The intestinal wall is your body's primary security perimeter. By understanding its molecular mechanics, we can use precision nutrition to silence the alarms, rebuild the seals, and lock down our systemic health.